I'm Mark.
I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV, episode number 198. We're here with our picks for the best comics of the week, for the week of March 18th, 2015. My pick of the week is Superman number 39 by Jeff Johns and John Romita Jr. This quite possibly could be Jeff Johns' last issue. I believe it is, as writer. And it's kind of a peaceful moment after all the craziness with Ulysses in the previous issues. The revelation at the end of issue number 38, where Clark reveals to Jimmy that he is, in fact, Superman. And because of the things that happened in issue number 38, Superman slash Clark Kent, actually Superman, not slash Clark Kent. Yeah. Superman, the guy with the big S on his chest and the red and blue tights, or armor,
it's a big ass,
is powerless. He has had all of his energy sapped because of his new power of...
What does Johnny Storm call it? His Nova Blast?
His Nova, because he flamed on. Yeah. And he spends the day kind of hanging out with Jimmy as a normal person. And I think that was the appeal of this story to me, is that this version of Superman is my version of Superman. The new 52 version of Superman hasn't clicked with me as much as I would like it to. Superman, as we've said many times before, is a tough character to write, to kind of be in love with, because he's invincible. I mean, he's basically a god. His villains are going to be, either amazingly cool or amazingly dumb. Odds are nothing horrific is going to happen to Superman. And it makes him tough to relate to, unlike somebody like a Spider-Man or a Batman even, who's just a guy who's pushed himself to his physical limits and mental limits. And it's nice to see a human Superman. He's able to get hurt. He's able to bleed. He's able to be hungry and tired. And all of these things that affect normal people. And it's neat because it's Superman. So
does he still have the ability to make people forget by kissing them?
Or drinking orange juice. No,
yes.
that did not happen in this issue. But there's a very cool scene, and the cover kind of alludes to it. Jimmy actually does not step in front of Superman, but the depowered Superman tries to save someone, or I won't tell you whether it works or not, but he basically has to bluff about still having his powers, and his speech is pretty darn impressive. So I don't know why I was surprised. I mean, Jeff Johns is arguably the best writer at DC Comics right now, and he obviously has a great love and affection for these characters. So congratulations, Mr. Johns, for making me pick a Superman comic for my pick of the week, which may have happened when the first part of this storyline came out. But if you're looking for kind of a classic Christopher Reeve-esque Superman, then you should check out this issue.
And my pick of the week is Giant Days by John Allison. Created and written by John Allison, illustrated by Lisa Tremaine, and published by our good friends at Boom Studios under their Boombox imprint. And this is a great coming-of-age kind of story. It's about some girls in college and what freshmen in college do. It's funny, it's light, it's relatable. It's not... What? I relate to being a girl in college. What? Don't judge me. But it was just fun. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's a very human story. It's not, nobody has superpowers. There's nothing super bizarre going on. But it's very quiet and relatable. It's kind of the stuff... Okay, so if you take sex criminals and take out the sex and the superpowers, how, that kind of relationship, very human vibe, it's kind of just fun. That's what Giant Days is.
So it's the TV show Felicity.
Yes. Created by J.J. Abrams, I believe.
I don't know. No, yes, maybe. I don't remember. I'll have to investigate that.
I think that's true.
Now, there were a lot of comparisons, at least leading up to the release of this, that if people are reading Lumberjanes, they would like Giant Days.
I would say absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Lumberjanes has some fantastical elements, but all of the relationship stuff that's really at the core of Lumberjanes is mirrored here.
Cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Good job, Boom.
Boom! Next up for me, man, I'm a sucker for Mark Millar comics. If only they'd come out on time. We'll see what happens with the time-inspired Chrononauts. This is Chrononauts #1, written by Mark Millar, King of Scotland, and artwork by Sean Gordon Murphy, who's apparently using his middle name now.
Is there another Sean Murphy?
Nearly everything. Yes, I don't know. I grew up with a Sean Murphy in my neighborhood.
Probably not the
same guy. I'm pretty sure. Would have recognized him when I met him a few years ago. Chrononauts, Josh aptly put it before we started recording, is Top Gun with time travel. You've got these two main characters who are very much the Goose and Maverick of the time travel world. And it's a super cool concept. The artwork is amazing. I've always liked Sean Murphy stuff, especially his arc on American Vampire and Punk Rock Jesus, and and whatchamacallit, The Wake. He did the artwork on The Wake. So that was a huge selling point for me. But you throw time travel in, written by Mark Millar, and this is a recipe for awesomeness. So don't overlook it. I don't know why you would. It's got Mark Millar's name on the front cover. We know that.
Who's Mark Millar again?
The King of Scotland.
Oh, okay. The writer of
Kick-Ass,
Secret Service, which was turned into the Kingsman movie that just came out.
He created
Marvel
the band
Civil
The Kingsman,
War.
Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
Basically, a lot of the co-creator or one of the brain trusts behind the Ultimate Universe over at Marvel.
And apparently High King of Fox's X-Men Fantastic Four movie franchises.
He is the architect.
He's their Joss Whedon.
Maybe. So Chrononauts, it's out. It's published by Image Comics, and it's something you should absolutely buy.
Next up, also from Image with the new #1, we've got Invisible Republic. This is co-written by Gabriel Hardman and Karina Bechko, who you may remember from the Planet of the Apes books and something else that was good. Doesn't matter. And the art, of course, is Gabriel Hardman as well. And this is Breaking Bad meets Citizen Kane. They're selling it as Breaking Bad meets Blade Runner, and we haven't seen that much in the first issue, but it's definitely the story, like a Breaking Bad or a Godfather 2, the story of someone's descent into darkness and evil, and why they made the choices they made, the road that got them to being a monster. And basically you've got what I love and hate about this at the same time, it gives you very interesting stuff, but it doesn't give you a lot of background immediately. It's slowly being revealed throughout the issue, and presumably throughout the series as it goes on. So I don't actually have a whole lot to give you for status stuff, but it appears to have some sort of like a dictator or like a Banana Republic type guy, except maybe in space with rockets. And he's been overthrown. The story is starting at the end of the story. The regime's been toppled, and we are revealed the secret history of how he became. They find journals of a family member. A family member from the Sprint family pan. And you see this young man before he's become, this all-powerful dictator, and how he made that trek. So, if you like stuff like Breaking Bad, if you like just human drama, if you like galactic kind of political sci-fi, very cool.
Yep. Staying in that neck of the woods, we'll go with Princess Leia #2, written by Mark Waid, artwork by Terry Dodson. And I truly enjoyed the first issue. I really like this issue as well. And one of the main reasons I liked this issue is that we get to explore Princess Leia's childhood a little bit. And now I've read as far as the expanded universe or Star Wars things that were not seen on the big screen, I've read the Timothy Zahn trilogy, and that's about it. I've read maybe a couple of the Dark Horse comics. But for me, it was very tough to take these characters that I fell in love with as a child and see them in another media format other than the big screen, other than movies. So it was always tough for me to kind of hear their voices as I was reading a comic, or the artwork was off and it just didn't work for me. But the Marvel stuff is just knocking it out of the park. They're doing a great job. So I don't know if any of the previously released novels explore Princess Leia's youth, but that was the hook for me. I want to see what her life was like growing up as the daughter of royalty, the adopted daughter of royalty. Really, the only glimpse that we get of that is at the end of episode 3, where Senator Organa adopts her. Obi-Wan shows up saying, here's a baby. And so we get to see a little bit of her as a child, not an infant. But it was worth the price of admission on this one. The only thing I'm a little sad about is that this is a 5-issue miniseries, and we're on issue #2, and her quest is to go find all the orphans of Alderaan, and that's got to take more than 5 issues. So I don't know how they're going to pull this one off. But it's got political intrigue, it's got sci-fi, it's got emotion and all kinds of great stuff, all wrapped up in the Princess Leia comic from Marvel.
And Orphans of Alderaan is the name of my folk band.
I would go listen to that band.
Next up, also from Image with a new number one. Not also, but also from the other ones. Lots of new number ones. We've got Red One. This is written...
Not to be confused with Red 5.
Yes, from
or
Star
Rogue
Wars.
One.
Which is the new movie about Star Wars. Written by Xavier Dorison with art by the Dodsons. We've got Terry Dodson on pencils, colors, and Rachel on inks, as usual.
On sax and drums. And
on retainer.
The artist from Princess Leia.
The artist from Princess Leia. So if you like the art in that book, this is another female-led series with art by the same people. So.
Not the same concept.
Not the same concept. So the idea is during the Cold War, a Russian special agent is sent to America to become a superhero, to kind of become a superhero. They look and they see how we feel about superheroes from our movies and our culture and our pop culture and stuff, and they're trying to basically infiltrate that and destroy the American dream by creating an icon that they can then destroy themselves. And I thought it was very good. You know, it has a lot of that Cold War feel. It's very fun for being a book about, you know, one of the darker points in history. It's light and funny, and the characters are likable, and the art is pretty because Dodson's. So Red One.
Alex's pick of the week.
Alex's pick of the week.
Yes.
I did not know that. I changed my mind. I don't want to talk about it.
He just picked it about 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Finally, for me this week, we've got Amazing Spider-Man 16.1: Spiral Part 1.
Colon Spiral is the name of my prog rock band.
Spiral is the name of the procedure that I'm going to have done next week. So, don't be put off by this, because it is essentially the continuation of present-day Spider-Man stuff. So we just got out of Spider-Verse, which was this ginormous crossover event, and now we're back to street-level Spider-Man activity. The Kingpin of Crime is no longer the Kingpin of Crime, and there are several contenders opting to become the new Kingpin of New York, and those include Tombstone and Mr. Negative and that dude, Hammerhead, and the Black Cat and the Ringmaster and all kinds of people. So there's this new gang war a-brewing, which is very reminiscent of the storyline from the 1980s, actually called Gang War, that took place in the Spider-Man comics. So everything old is new again, and we have a power vacuum. So we get Spider-Man in here, and the Wraith, the new Wraith, who is Police Captain Yuri Bogdanovich. I don't know. It's Yuri Miyagi. I don't know. I don't know who it is. Tanaka.
I don't know.
Captain Tanaka from episode 1. Anyway, it's basically a Spider-Man Wraith team-up book taking on the bad guys, and it's written by Jerry Conway. The whole point of this is it's written by a classic Spider-Man writer with artwork by Carlo Barberi. Don't let the point one discourage you from buying this. If you're reading Amazing Spider-Man, you should read Amazing Spider-Man 16.1. I don't know how many parts this is. I think
it's 5 or 6.
5 or 6, but it looks to be, just as good as reading regular old Spider-Man. So it's confusing to me as to why we keep running these concurrent Spider-Man stories. I guess because they don't want to launch another Spider-Man title, so they just put a point after the most recent issue, and there you go.
You asked for this. You asked for fewer miniseries, so now you're getting weird hybrid sub-series.
Yeah, the creation of a new thing. But I'm here to tell you, it's very good and worth picking up, especially if you're reading regular old Amazing Spider-Man. That was a very long way of saying you should check this out.
Last up for me this week, we've got Ivar Timewalker, issue 3. Still written by Fred Van Lente, still art by Clayton Henry, and still really, really fun. This picks up right where we left off, where Ivar is trying to illustrate the rigidity of time travel by proving that you can't kill Hitler. And you've got this great list, laundry list of time travelers kind of lined up to kill Hitler or do other heinous things to him. Did you read?
No.
No, it's I giggled like a little girl. It was funny. But we've also got appearances by the Eternal Warrior, who's of course Ivar's brother, and
the Ultimate Warrior.
No, the Ultimate Warrior is the guy with the things on his... Didn't he give his own death speech or something, Ultimate Warrior? He gave his own eulogy, I think.
No.
But, no, the Eternal Warrior from Valiant Comics. Brother, of course, to Armstrong from Archer and Armstrong and Ivar Timewalker. This book is still great. We're getting to see some really interesting character stuff because his human sidekick has been separated from him briefly, and it gives her the opportunity to speak with other time travelers and people who are moving through time, and she finds out that perhaps Ivar has not been totally upfront with her. Not everything is as it seems, and it just gave a great undercurrent to the relationship for a very fun and awesome book.
Cool.
All right.
March
and
Madness.
Now is the time. Once there were 8, the egregious 8, and now we are down to the final 4. So from last week's pairings, we've got Saga heading against Injustice. Saga wins. The number 1
No
seed.
explanation necessary.
No, sir. Saga wins. Over in the Northeast bracket, we had Amazing Spider-Man versus Sex Criminals. Spider-Man wins. The number 2 seed wins out. In the Southeast bracket, we have Batman versus Original Sin. Batman, the number 3 seed, wins and advances. But coming, there's just in the Southwest bracket, there's the Little Engine That Could. We've got Walking Dead, the number 5 pick, the number 5 seed, versus Thor: God of Thunder, which was the number 13 seed. Thor: God of Thunder wins. It's a Cinderella story, come from behind. Unfortunately,
Cinderella story.
that's what I'm saying. And it's just awesome. So we've got God of Thunder is going head-to-head against Saga next week. And on the other side, we've got Amazing Spider-Man versus Batman. And that'll take us to the final 2. And then we will crown the greatest book of 2014 as voted by you, the viewers, and the customers, and the Webbers, or whatever it is you call people on Facebook. The friends. We'll say the friends.
Yes.
So
This is very interesting. Things are shaping up a little bit differently from last year.
I mean, I liked God of Thunder quite a bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have called it Taking Walking Dead, but I liked it.
It's
very good.
It's very conceivable
Yes.
that there are more people that enjoy Thor: God of Thunder than they do the Walking Dead comic. Keeping in mind that the people that watch the Walking Dead TV show don't all read the comic.
Yeah.
And that Jason Aaron's run on Thor: God of Thunder was spectacular.
Very good.
Yes. So there you have it. Continue voting in the comments below, so that we can get down to our final 2.
Yeah.
What's the word for that?
We're at the final 4.
The championship?
That's just the championship.
Yes. Where Josh and I will reenact scenes from our favorite comics, or from those 2 comics. I hope
I'm kind of hoping Saga doesn't make it now.
But
I'm just glad it wasn't Sex Criminals.
we appreciate the participation. This is all about your picks for the best comics of 2014, or the best comic of 2014. So thank you for that. Until next time, take care.